the 10th of the 1st, 2025. Hello, everybody. My name is Mitchell, and welcome back to the Adventures of the Multiverse podcast for the 50th episode special. As is usually with these specials, this is going to be more an update video than doing anything special. And this video will not affect the normal upload schedule, so this won't overtake any of next week's actual episodes of, I think, will be Pandemic and Zombicide, the first episode of Prison Outbreak. But more on that on a little bit. I'm sorry if I do sound a bit nasally, if you hear coughing behind the scenes. I am unwell. I currently have RSV. It is not a bundle of laughs at the moment. To me, I the first few days where I had it really badly, I was fever dreaming for like 4 or 5 nights solid. I could not go to sleep without having these constant fever dreams. First it was I was the mayor of a city, and then I was fever dreaming chess puzzles, and then I was one of the Starks from Game of Thrones, which I just started watching. Not a good show. Game of Thrones is not good. Stopped halfway through season 3, but that is besides the point. It's 2025, and I'm still doing this. It's yeah. I say I'm still doing this like it's like I'm in my own basement, locking myself to the radiator, or rather chaining myself to the radiator and forcing myself to do this. But um, yeah, the 50 episodes. So we do have, like, of course, a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now, stuff that I'm editing, stuff that I'm trying to sort out. But the thing that this is going to be the 50th episode that goes up next week, um, is it's astonishing. I don't even think I've had regular uploads like this on my other channel. Like I do still upload there, but it's very infrequent. I was never really able to crack the YouTube algorithm, and I was really hoping to do something with this one. And we're seeing a little bit of success. All of our videos have views now, which isn't a big thing, I guess, to a lot of people. But for someone who's just making podcasts in his own time, doing his own thing, just recording, him and his mates having a good time, it means a bit to me that people are listening. To start off with, I guess there isn't really any elephant in the room, but to give a bit of an update, the so I guess when it comes to Zombicide is going to be the easiest one to talk about. We have going up tonight, like as of it's in the middle of being uploaded right now to the YouTube channel. Episode 14 of Zombicide is going up, and that is what the last of what we have actually recorded for Zombicide for Tui. After this, we are going to be uploading Prison Outbreak. This is a separate series that Ragnar and I recorded at our own time, at our own leisure, because we just got the hankering to play more Zombicide. And Prison Outbreak was a lot of fun. We got a few good episodes out of it, and that'll be uploading from next week. So don't worry, you won't be missing out on your weekly scheduled Zombicide content. It will just be changing to that. And we will be returning to Tui at a later point. I think when it does come to Zombicide, it is a bit of fun. I have been meaning to upload the photos that we take on the maps to the Twitter, but I just I guess I want to say I'm not lazy, but I just never really think of these things at the time. I could be doing it right now, but 10, almost 11 o'clock at night, I'm recording this. But I don't know. Maybe one day I will do like a big upload compilation or something. But what's it after? What is it after Prison Outbreak gets uploaded? depending, it's gonna what comes after Prison Outbreak, because I think we still have like 8 or 9 episodes of Prison Outbreak actually recorded. The what will be uploaded after that, I'm not too sure yet. It's I've got to stop saying so much. I do this when I record other things or talk to people in general. Probably hear it a lot in the actual recordings. Was it the There's two things we could be looking at. We have been recording a few episodes of Green Horde. Green Horde has actually been Green Horde's been really, really fun. It's really punishing, but it is just fun in general. So I guess if we do that, I don't know if that microphone picked it up, but my stomach is churning right now. I have no idea what I ate that's causing it. Um, what was I? Oh yeah, so the uploads for Green Horde will depend on if we're able to finish recording Green Horde in time. So I don't want to start uploading Green Horde if we don't have it finished yet, and then at some point we don't have all the content, we're not able to make more of it. We have to go back to TUI, and then record Green Horde at a later date, and then upload, because it's going to make the schedule look messy. I like how it is where we sort of stopped recording TUI at toward the end of last year, and then we have Prison Outbreak banked, and then we could just come back to it at a later point. That's different because we're not like stopping and starting in the middle, one episode. We have the whole thing coming out essentially. So we have like record about halfway through second edition base game, and we're stopping and then doing all of Prison Outbreak, which only goes for about 89 episodes, and then we're going to come back to TUI and then finish that off, and then maybe go to Green Horde, or if you can finish off Green Horde, do that, and then come back to TUI. It just seems to me, it seems a lot cleaner for the podcast to record it like that. But Zombicide won't be going anywhere. I'm still happy doing a weekly upload for Zombicide because it's been more content. We always have a bit of fun with Zombicide, and it's a lot of fun listening back to some of these recordings. For so over the course of the New Year's time slots, I did it again. I was a little bit up and down when it came to actually regularly uploading stuff. I remember there's a point there where I think I missed like a week, didn't upload anything, and then missed a week again. But we're all caught up now, so hooray! And of course, the 2 episodes are going up to tonight. So the reason why it's like that is because I don't have Wi-Fi at home. I never had Wi-Fi. Whenever I uploaded something, I was always able to upload stuff on the Wednesdays when we recorded DoD, or on the Thursdays we recorded Pandemic. Because I'm not able to use my own Wi-Fi because I don't have any. I use my own data. So the reason why that at home, I can still upload stuff using my data, but it takes a little bit longer, and of course it chews the shit out of my data. So I have to sort of upload it when it sort of suits me, when I won't mess up stuff. If I'm riding at home or something, or listening to music, or watching TV or anything like that. Everything should be uploaded by now. We should be caught up. So of course we did have the Christmas and New Year's special. That was really exciting. We'd had that baked in the can for I think like 2 or 3 months by that point. I remember recording the Christmas special because it's a two-parter, so you got to listen to the Christmas. The idea was that you had the Christmas special first, and then a week later be the New Year's special. But I wasn't able to upload it like that because I was like, just get it out the door, then get it done with, and we can resume with that regularly scheduled programming. But it did end up in that sort of sweet spot between Christmas and New Year's anyway. So, I guess it was still sort of seasonal. Picking up on all that seasonal event goodness. And then I remember uploading like 4 episodes straight after that, 2 Zombicide episodes and a Pandemic and DoD episode each to catch up on what we've been missing. So yeah, hopefully from this week things should be looking a lot more normal. we haven't actually been back to record anything yet since we stopped our regular recording stuff. I think it was like at the beginning of December. The last episode that we actually recorded of Zombicide is going up tonight. So I can't remember what time that one said, but I'm pretty sure that was our last episode of Zombicide actually recorded for 2024. So, of course, you'll be able to get a good look at what we're sort of feeling like then. That wasn't a great discussion. But anyway, in the next few weeks, we are restarting our regularly scheduled recordings. So DoD is going to restart again. Not that we left it on a big cliffhanger or anything, but I think we've got a time so that when we start recording DoD, we are actually going to run out of DoD again. So that sort of works out well in a sense. Oh, excuse me. That's going to work out well in a sense because it means that we're going to be more up to date, more current. It means that we're not going to be recording these where we're going to be like 1 or 2 months ahead, and things are going to be a bit iffy. We can record something, get it out the door. It's fresh, it's new, it's entertaining. Whereas with pandemic, we basically recorded the whole pandemic in those 6 months. So we actually have. So when I say 6 months, the reason why it was so much longer because we should have about 20 odd episodes. We should have finished that thing in about like under 3 months. The reason why it took us a little bit longer is because we weren't able to record every night, like every Thursday night. So it means that we were missing out on recordings and sometimes missing out on a few weeks at a time. But yeah, so I'm just looking at it now. So episode 13 of DoD is going up tonight. We have 2 more episodes recorded after that, DoD 14 and DoD 15. Which means that the last one that we have recorded is going to be uploaded on the 7th of February, and we're reconvening on the 23rd of this month, of January. So that means that we'll be able to get, like 2 recording sessions in before we run out of content. So that's not too bad. And in any case, the reason why we record Betrayal, Dungeons and Dragons is so that we do have like that sort of, if we don't have enough people to make up regular, excuse me. The reason why we have Betrayal D&D, I think we have like 1 or 2 episodes of that banked as well, is so that if we have enough people to do something, but we can't do Dungeons of Drakenheim, it means that we can just upload Betrayal D&D instead and sort of help fill out that time so we don't have a dead week. I guess we could always just upload another episode of Pandemic Legacy, but I feel like having another episode of something D&D related is always a point in favor of us. So episode 10 of Pandemic Legacy went up last week. So episode 11 is going to be going up next week. So yeah, we haven't. We have. What's that? Episode 11 through 20. So we have another 10 episodes of Pandemic Legacy to go before we actually run out of that. Including the little epilogue we did. That's episode 20. And here's the thing, I not that I did episode 20 to make it like an even number, so we didn't end the series on episode 19, because technically we did have an episode 0, which is where we all played proper like base game Pandemic for the first time. So we would have 20 episodes, so we did end it up at 20, but I think visually, if we ended on episode 20, so we had those 21 episodes, including essentially the pilot of episode 0. So you have 0 through to 20. I think episode 20 on the epilogue would look a lot nicer rather than just episode 19 epilogue. Episode 19, which would be when we finished when we finished Pandemic Legacy Season 1. And we did a base game epilogue after, where we talked a little bit about Legacy, where we were like, here's some things that we did like, here's some things that we didn't like, here's what we could improve, that sort of stuff. And that recording that was actually really cathartic for me. I won't give any spoilers about the game, but if you are a long time listener of Pandemic Legacy, you could probably already tell where it's going to go. Oh my god, what did I call episode 10? Adventures of the Multiverse and the popular YouTube subculture of the 2010s. Oh my god, that would have been like right in the middle of having my fever dreams too, so that checks out. So I bet you're all wondering, if we finish Pandemic Legacy, Season 1, at the end of last year, which is where we got some more time to fill in with Zombicide, then what are we going to do for our Thursday recording sessions when we come back? And this is something that, I've been alluding to for a long while. I don't know if any of those episodes will actually be out yet. I do allude to that. We talk about it. I know towards the end of Pandemic Legacy, we were talking about like, hey, if you want to see this, let us know, blah, blah, blah. We'll be happy to listen to you. But here's the thing. Those episodes are going out for like another 2 months, and we're going to be recording that well beforehand. So here's the sort of like funny bit. We're going to be recording Betrayal Legacy when we reconvene for those Thursday sessions. So it's going to be funny that those episodes are going to be going out right as we're in the middle of recording Betrayal Legacy. So that way, by the time we finish that, because what is that? If we have enough like Pandemic Legacy left to last until I think it was something ridiculous like April, because was that today's the 10th, and then the next Pandemic is going out on the 17th, which is 1, the 31st, which is 2nd, the 14th, which is 3rd, the 28th of February, which is 4th, the 14th of March, which is 5th, the 28th, the 6th, the 11th, the 25th, 7, and 8. And then 9 and 23 of the 9th to the 23rd of March, the 9th and 10 episodes, respectively. So we have enough Pandemic Legacy to last us until the 23rd of May 2025. We will be almost halfway through the year. I might if we're recording, I'm having a stroke. If like uploading everything goes smoothly, then that means that we have enough to last until the 23rd. If we end up getting held up, or we decide to do something, replace Pandemic Legacy with something in the interim, we could be looking at up until June of this year. Excuse me. Which is really funny to think about. Because uploading once every 2 weeks. God, that's so fucking funny. And which means that by the time we will have finished Betrayal Legacy, I think by like March, which means we will have another 3 months before those episodes ever see the light of day. And then we will probably begin recording season 2 of Pandemic Legacy in April. Oh my god. To me. So I guess that's where our board game's looking at the moment. So of course we're going to be, finish uploading Pandemic Legacy Season 1, finish that up, and then we're going to be recording Betrayal Legacy when we come back. We did toy with the idea of doing Pandemic Legacy, doing Season 2 straight away, but I think it'd provide that really nice and much needed change of pace to go to something shorter. I think Betrayal Legacy is going to be a bit more intense. because Betrayal Legacy is a lot. Pandemic Legacy is a lot easier to set up. The setup rule is very simple. By the end of it, I could do it with my hands tied behind my back. Another Betrayal Legacy is harder to set up, but I think these are going to be longer games. So whereas Pandemic Legacy took about like an hour to an hour and a half. Maybe if we were really, I think we do have a few episodes that are like pushing that 2 hour mark. Um, then it's we've well, I just said that, pushing that hour to 2 hour mark. I think Betrayal Legacy is going to be consistently about like that hour and a half to 2 hour, just because of how big the game is going to get. So setup for that one is surely going to take a lot longer. Because as you can probably imagine, with regular Betrayal, all you need to do is you explore the house slowly as you make your way outwards, and then you reset at the end of every game. With Betrayal Legacy, as you explore the house stays the exact same, which means that you have to be like keeping track of which rooms go where. So I think to save us a little bit of heartache, when it comes to recording that, I think we're going to be recording that at my place. We're going to be recording it at my, going to set it up at my table, and we're just going to leave it on my table. So that way, when we're recording everything, it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to get to the office and then we're going to set everything up, and that's going to take about half an hour. We need more tables, we need more chairs, or people are too away from the microphone, too far away from the microphones. That's going to sound weird. And then pack everything up, rinse and repeat for about 2 months. That's gonna I think it's got to really piss people off, especially Reichland, who was not enamored with Betrayal Legacy in the first place. We actually joked about it at the beginning because he said that he was going to go to Brisbane for a little while at the beginning of the year, and to do like a sort of boot camp thing. And I said to him, "Oh, you that desperate to get out of Betrayal Legacy again?" We all had a good laugh and a good cry after he hit me many times over the head with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, Betrayal Legacy I think will be a bit of fun. I do actually have some experience of Betrayal Legacy. I think Reichland and I got like halfway through the game with an anonymous third party member, before we ended up stopping. I can't remember if why we stopped. I think it was maybe just because times were clashing, or because we weren't so good to the third party as much. But I do remember that we got reasonably far into it. It's not as if um, toward the end of it, we got all the hot scoops, and we were able to guess every single story beat. But we did. I think it did work a few things out of what was going on. But I guess I'll just have to wait and see where that ends or where that comes up with. Even when it comes to Pandemic Legacy Season 2, I don't know if our heart is going to be set on that completely, playing it afterwards, because there are other games that we could play. Of course, I've got that Vampire Heritage, uh, which we could do instead, and then but I think it'll provide like not like a nice narrative through line, but I think it'd be nice to sort of break up Pandemic Legacy both seasons with something in between, because going straight from, especially like for you the listener as well, could you imagine finishing that epilogue of Pandemic Legacy season 1 and straight after we have season 2, just straight afterwards? I guess there will be that 2 week wait in between, but I think if we did have something in the middle that to sort of help break it up, and to just go, hey, here's something new, here's something different. We played Betrayal like I think 2 times the channel now. We got a little bit more banked up. Here's something you're familiar with. Here's something that can help break up the storyline between seasons. That way, when Pandemic comes back, say I think it was in April, I said, you won't be as excuse me. I know, so we'll start recording in April, but we will have stuff banked up until June, and that's the sort of Pandemic alone. If we do manage to bang out all those episodes of Betrayal, Legacy, I think that's 14 episodes. That's going to be another, like, what, 7 months before. um, so we'll be, oh my god, what would that be? We'll be looking at like a January 2026. We will have, by the end of, oh my god, excuse me, by the end of April, we will have stuff recorded through till January the next year. That is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. I guess that will depend though, because I'm going underneath the assumption that we're going to have 7 recording blocks, so we'll be able to fit 2 games of Betrayal in one after the other. That's going to entirely depend on how long those games actually take, because we do start recording these at 6, or we try to start recording these at 6. Most of the time, not everybody arrives at 6. They arrive later, so that pushes recordings a bit later. And that means usually we end up, because I might have to drop some people off, so we might end up finishing the recordings at say 9 or 9:30, but I won't actually be able to get home until about 10. Won't be able to actually rest until 10, which is fine. It comes with the territory, and I'm putting, what would that be? That'd be across DoD and Pandemic, that'd be about 8 hours across 2 nights a week, which isn't too bad. But I think it's not as if I'm doing this as a paid job. This isn't something that I get to go online, put in those 4 hours into Dungeons of Drakenheim and the legacy games and Zombicide, and I get cents back out of those hours. This is, at the time being, until until I do win Lotto or something, or the podcast decides to become an internet sensation overnight. This is very much something that I'm just doing in my own time to. Not to really help pass time. It would be nice to do this full time and, be able to look at DoD full time, be able to look at Pandemic full time, be able to invest in a camera, be able to invest in all this sort of stuff. I just don't have the time nor the money working a part time job to pay my own rent, to pay my own bills, to just do that at the moment. It's not a luxury I have. I forgot entirely what the whole point of this was, but I think just time and money. I guess that's it with most things, really. I put in 2024, I put in all this time and work to writing a book. First draft finished about 3/4 of the way through last year. Put it through over 600 and something pages, and I put it in through so many publishers, and I haven't heard any back yet. It's a little bit disheartening because I put in so many hours and so much effort into that book. It would have been, well over a few hundred hours, and sort of get turned away at every turn. It's a little bit disheartening, but I guess it's no different to what I'm doing with this. Like right now, I put in all these hours to try and make something of it, and 6 months in, and we have 11 subscribers, and most of our videos aren't even pushing the triple digit view mark yet. But that's just the way that things go, really. It's just you just got to keep trying, got to keep pounding that pavement. I guess one day things will work out eventually. But I don't want pity party Mitchell. This is meant to be 50th episode update Mitchell. So I guess when I put this out as well, when it comes to the legacy games, things, we do have more Betrayal Legacy lined up in the next few weeks. We are recommencing our recording schedules, not next week, but the week after. So I guess by the time this goes out, it will be next week. Because this should be going out about the 15th or 16th. Oh, excuse me. And then we start recording it on the 22nd and 23rd. So by the time this goes out, it will be next week. But from my point of view, 2 weeks from now, we do recommence recording. But I guess there's two things to keep in mind. It's the first that, we will be recording Betrayal Legacy by the time this goes out. And I don't know how big these videos are, because I can imagine that, a lot of people might not listen to the updates because, they're here for us to. So, excuse me. Because, they're here to listen to us play Pandemic and Zombicide and DoD, and it's completely fine. But I guess when it comes to, like votes or like a community consensus, if you do want us to play Pandemic Season 2 straight after Betrayal Legacy, or if you want to see Vampire Heritage, if you want to see a different game, like a different Legacy game that's not listed on there, I think toward the end of toward the end of Pandemic, we did throw around a lot of suggestions because it was like Vampire. There's two vampires because Vampire Heritage is actually, I think that was the company who makes, I think that was World of Darkness, like dipping their toe in a vampire like legacy game. Because I think the one that came after was Vampire Survivors. Survivors is like that really. Was it Vampire Survivors? No, that's a different game. What the fuck is that? Um, um, yeah, because there's Heritage, but where was it Vampire Survivor? No, it wasn't Vampire Survivors. I just looked it up and it came with a video game with Steam. Oh, well, I'll keep looking for it in the interim. But there's Vampire Heritage. There's unnamed Vampire Legacy game. I think it might be Vampire Survivors. I did throw around Gloomhaven. And there's also like, I guess the whole point of doing these legacy games is that there's a story to tell behind them, right? I guess that's that's what separates us from doing board games on a regular thing. We could be doing Terraforming Mars, or we could be doing Catan, or we could be doing anything else. But the reason why I want to do legacy games in the first place is because those legacy games have a story behind them, something to help links the episodes together. So it's not just here's excuse me, here is standard board game number 445, doing this, doing that. The difference between that and these legacy ones is, of course, that there's a story behind it. Not that that's inherently a bad thing, going through and playing a board game and then reset it every time. But by having that story there, it gives the viewers something, that they can link into. It gives us a story that we can link into, that we can change, we can influence the story as we go along. You can't really do that with a lot of our board games because, I guess if go back to Terraforming Mars, the thing with Terraforming Mars is that the thing gets reset every time. It's like, once it's done, it's done. It's a lot like regular Betrayal. So I guess, that's the whole point of it. Oh my god, I'm having like a little bit of a mind fog right now. So I'll be talking about something and I'll just completely forget. Completely forget what I was talking about. I guess, looking stuff up in the interim is sort of doing that to me as well. Oh yeah, so that's sort of the whole point of us doing these legacy board games is because it does give us something else to cling on to. It's not us just going through and going playing. Oh, here's a board game. Do this, do that. Reset at the end of episode, rinse and repeat. Do that for 500 episodes. By having that story in there, I think it gives that little bit more of a It just gives us that bit of story, in all honesty, just something for us to cling on to. With so yeah, there's a few ones that we threw around. You know, season two, there's the big one. Gloomhaven was another. Vampire Heritage. I wanted to do Vampire Heritage before the other one, before Vampire Survivors. And of course, we have to do season two before we do Pandemic Legacy Season Zero. I did toy around with the idea of buying Frosthaven, which is like, well, it's Gloomhaven but snowy. And the well, I guess the problem with that is the fact that it's about $300 online. I could get it. I could go to like the next store over and get it for like $500, but that is besides the point. The whole point of this is that, as I said before, I'm not making bank on this. I'm not making any money from this podcast at all at the moment. So you know, it's if I buy. If I buy something, it's for my own pocket, it's for my own investment to the podcast, rather than, oh, you know, the podcast made $200 this week. It's making $200 the next week. Let's put $300 from that $400 I made into the podcast. Let's use $300 of that $400 to buy Frosthaven. No, that's not how this works. Stop it. Get some help. Okay. Oh, chapters. It's Vampire the Masquerade chapters. So I do believe that they're coming out with like a more complete version of this sometime later on. They did do a Kickstarter for Vampire chapters relatively recently. With that, and I would like to grab that at some point, depending on how expensive it is. Obviously, it was going to cost me out the arse, and that's different. It's one thing when I'm buying these board games on my own to play. It's another when I'm buying them specifically for the podcast. Podcast. So, you know, we are planning, of course, I just said for sure, we're already recording Betrayal Legacy. But if you'd like to see something different between them, you know, feel free to leave a comment. I might even put up a community poll so that, you know, not just people who listen to this, if there are any people who listen to this, sort of know, but rather everyone does. And I guess the next big one is, what does 2025 entail for us? Well, in 2025, I guess even like recording this now, you know, it's been about 6 months since we started uploading to the channel, which is a bit of a, once again, it's a bit of a surreal feeling because I didn't expect to get this up and started so soon. I'm glad I did, but it's like this wouldn't have happened if I didn't message the group chat at a particular point in time and get people keen and get people, you know, invested and interested in it. I can guarantee you, if I didn't message the group chat like at that 6 months ago and be like, hey, you know, things have slowed down for me for a bit. How would people feel if we just did like a few episodes and see how it feel? That's a little bit surreal, you know, the whole butterfly effect thing about how, you know, you really can change certain things. Yeah, we've been doing this for about 6 months now. Yeah, I guess surreal is really the best word for it because, like, um, it hasn't felt like that long. It honestly hasn't felt like 6 months since we started recording it. It feels like it's been a shorter time, but I guess that, you know, time flies when you're having fun, right? So I guess where will we see each other? Yeah, so first episode was recording 26th of June. So I guess technically we would hit that 6 months mark already. It'd be like 2 weeks ago in December, but on Boxing Day, but like, who's counting, right? Oh, that's another thing that we could have done. We could do Call of Cthulhu, have the Arkham Horror board game lingering around here somewhere. So we could do that as well. I also have there's like that steampunk World War One game that everybody loves that I can't remember the name of for some reason. Somewhere looking around in my brain that is currently fogging up. My brain is melting. It's liquidating itself. Wow. So I'm going to my local game store and, well, not my local game store, but going on to an online one, and they don't have vampire chapters. So that's nice. That's fine. I didn't want to play chapters anyway. Not as if I like vampire. Not as if I'm in the middle of reading Salem's Lot at the moment. I should be able to buy it online somewhere anyway. In any case. Um, Vampire chapters. Go to Amazon. But yeah, 6 months hasn't felt like it. Hasn't really felt like it at all, really. I want to can't find vampire chapters anywhere online. That's fine. I wonder what's going on. I would be very interested to see why vampire chapters isn't available anywhere. So yeah, they did a definitive edition Kickstarter a little while ago for it, but unless they were just trying to draw people into the Kickstarter by just not releasing anymore, that's a valid way, like valid business strategy. In 6 months, I don't know where we're going to be out of 6 months. I want to hopefully say, that we're in a position where, I could take this a bit more. Not that I don't already take this seriously, but I'm hoping to be in a position where I can do this podcast like on a more I guess it's not business approach either, but I'm hoping to be in a position where I can put a bit more time and be recompensed for doing the podcast rather than doing this on my own. I do put a lot of time in behind the scenes to look up, of course, the modules, look up the story, to keep track of things in the background, as well as back to these and take story notes off of that. What people liked, what they didn't like, but it would be nice if I could and just be able to do this a bit more professionally and just be at a point where maybe even I could transition to this being a full-time job. That would be like the ultimate like best goal for this podcast, would be able to do something like that. Could you imagine this podcast where I'm able to pay someone to do like little animations like I see other people do, to have like music, to have maybe in a video one day? It would be so cool to do stuff like that. Um, like I said, I'm just not anywhere near a position where I'm able to do anything like that at the moment. But 6 months is a long time. Who knows when the 26th of June rolls up um, and maybe like a little bit beforehand we start thinking about it. We bring out the cake and like happy 1 year anniversary Adventures in the Multiverse. I guess that'd be like the best thing, I guess, in 6 months, that we're all still together. Of course, Karina has left. I'm not too sure if Riley's coming back. Jasmine is dropping back to doing the Thursday podcasts only. But I guess if in 6 months we're at a point where We saw people coming, we saw people join, the games personally that I'm running for, then I guess that's the ultimate victory in itself. In the end, it doesn't really matter if I become a multi-millionaire overnight. The main reason why I run these games is because I love running them. I love the conversations. I love the laughter and hilarity. I just love how much fun um, that these games just can be and how much of a joy they are to run most days. There are times when I do want to smash my head up against an electric pole every now and then, but I love these people. I really do. You know what I don't love? Not being able to find vampire chapters anywhere. Oh well, oh welly welly. Oh welly, Nelly, Nellison. Unless they're just not going to put out any more like vampire chapters, unless this is just like that's it. Surely that wouldn't like not bring it anymore. They were flying it for like flying it. They were selling it for like a little while by itself. That doesn't make any sense. They wouldn't. Oh no, there it is. Vampire chapters. $120 Canadian for a first edition box. Okay. Well, how much would it cost for real money, Australian dollars, not Canadian shekels? 85 US. Okay, that's. Oh my god. That's a first edition though. I wonder what this new edition. Like, surely this had to be like definitive edition. It had to be like second edition or something. Um, I guess there could be same discussion for Dungeons of Drakenheim as well. So Dungeons of Drakenheim. I don't know when that's going to end up finishing. It's it's not something that with Legacy and um, with our Legacy games, there's something that you can hypothetically put like a timer on that. Not a timer, but you could like estimate the amount of episodes that you could get out of something because you have a set amount of games you can play. So you could estimate something like that for any Legacy game. But you can't really do that with Dungeons and Dragons because, games could end up going longer or they could be going shorter than anticipated depending on what the players do. So, um, oh, I give up. I just gotta close everything down so it's not distracting me. Um, with Dungeons and Dragons, it's harder to do that because there's no time limit. They could go a game could go on a campaign could go for 6 months. It could be going on for a year, go on for 2 years. I know some games have been going on for about 5 years now and haven't been slowing down at all. So we've already had one TPK for Dungeons of Drakenheim, and I think the sort of crux of that is the fact that I do have a rule when it comes to that. The second TPK, that's it. Mainly because if you can play through a story and if you play through a story in which you just constantly die and have things reset, then I guess you do lose that information. The characters lose that information, but the players don't lose that information. That's where the metagame stuff comes in. It's different. You could have the same characters go through for an entire campaign, but of course, the first TPK you have, that's going to end up you can always restart the story as needed. But when it comes to like a second and third TPK, things start to get a bit messy. The story becomes a bit convoluted. Your characters can't really remember each other, and it takes away, I think, a lot of the stakes as well. If at any point your characters can just die or you can just kill yourselves off, and that's it. You just restart back at base camp. Um, and retry the mission from scratch. So what I think is going to happen is that we're going to keep playing through Dungeons of Drakkenheim with this group after the TPK, which, if you didn't realize, does TPK have... Excuse me. If you didn't realize it was TPK at all, I do apologize. Sorry you had to find out this way. But we don't know what is... or, what we're going to play after Dungeons of Drakkenheim, because I haven't really thought that far. Which I guess is a conversation that I will need to have with people, because of a few things. I want to pick something that people would like to play, and it's going to be something I like to run. I have been getting quite burnt out of D&D, specifically 5e, these past few months. There was a game where I was just not very happy at all running it. I think it was showing in the way I was DMing. I think it was showing how the players were reacting. Not that I, didn't. Of course, I took it seriously, but I just didn't have the same heart in it then that I did maybe say like 2-3 years ago when I first started DMing. So hopefully by, of course, taking a little bit of time off from that, taking a little bit of time off of running the game, as well as cutting back on the... Oh, shit. As well as cutting back on the amount of games that I'm running, hopefully will... Yeah, I'm just hoping that it'll just help out with that. Excuse me. Just hoping I'm going to help out with that. Oh my god, what's that word? Burnout. Because burnout can be a real bitch. Burnout's terrifying. So if everybody gets TPK'd again and we have to pick something else, then the thing about that is, do we continue running D&D after the fact, or do we go and do we try and run a different system? Because I was toying with the idea of maybe running like Call of Cthulhu for a little while as well, because there's a few like Call of Cthulhu books that you can do, but the thing is that there's not... Call of Cthulhu isn't like designed to be like that sort of year-long campaign like D&D can, which isn't a bad thing. But the thing about that is, if we do something like that, like Call of Cthulhu or Vampire, it means that we're going to have to run shorter, more concise games, which would probably, like, honestly go on for about 2 or 3, which once again is not a bad thing. But I like having that longer story to tell, and I've talked about this with my players. They like having longer stories as well, and they prefer the longest story as well, the sort of more anthology based one from the past. But if there's a campaign that you'd like to see run, or if there's another like sort of role playing game you'd like to see run, because I've got Vampire, I've got Call of Cthulhu, I've got Doctor Who, I've got Shadowrun, the One Ring. I've got a few different things that I can run, that we can share stories with, but if we do want to stick with 5e, I think I'm going to have a long, talk with myself about it. And if I do, I'm going to have to cut some games out because at my peak, I think I was having like four, one, two, three. No, I was having like 5 games of D&D a week, and you can imagine how that could kill someone towards the end. So if I do run something after DoD sort of being an exception. So it's not as if it's not as if any games are specifically causing any burnout. I think I just needed more time for myself in the end, and I wasn't giving myself that time. And 5 games a week, you can probably imagine what that would do. So TPK happens. We're gonna have to have a serious sit down talk of, do we continue running this, D&D? Do we go to a new campaign immediately, or do I, even if I were to run, say, like Call of Cthulhu, for like run a few stories over a few sessions with that and see how we go, um, or do we jump into a new campaign like Ascent to Avernus or Out of the Abyss or anything like that straight away? There is a new edition of D&D coming out that looks so far. I can't say it looks good. I can't say it looks bad. From what I've seen of the test play, the beta testing so far, it looks average. There's nothing really in there that's really like wowing me, or that's making me think, oh yeah, I really want to play this over anything else. It's a new edition that's coming out. They got to try and milk everybody's money, of course. Once again, just let me know in the comments. Maybe that'll be something else I could do another poll for and see what to sort of gauge what people want. I guess that's the 50th episode update. There's a little discussion about things, and we do have a new person coming in for Dungeons of Dragonheim as well. So obviously, because Jasmine has left, and we have a few players who have left as well, and some who aren't able to come as regularly. Bree's brother Brock. Oh my god, that's a tongue twister and a half. Brock will be joining us from the start of the year. So, of course, there'll be those the last 2 episodes come out, episode 14, episode 15 on Dungeons & Dragonheim to come out. For, I guess that'll be episode 16 that'll come out. But Brock will be joining us. So I guess when you see him, give him a big hello in the comments section. And I'll see... And I guess we'll just see where we are when we get there. Day through for 6 months of the Adventures of the Multiverse podcast so far. It's been a ride, that's for sure. I mean, who knows? I might even decide to upload this, later on tonight, or maybe tomorrow, or I guess I will have to lean with next week still, since we are getting pretty far into the week, and I don't want to spend another like hour and a bit up waiting for this to upload. So, and make up the paint.exe thumbnail for this. It hasn't been too bad. Like the Halloween special and the Christmas special and New Year special, that thumbnails turned out okay. As well as the other like update ones, but it's so derpy. I guess if the channel does start making a bit of money and I do have money to put towards an artist, I guess making up thumbnails would probably be like one of the big ones. Not that the paint ones don't not look good, but they just look derpy as hell. You can so obviously tell that I ended up using paint.exe, and I don't know if that's driving people away. I can imagine it's probably not doing like wonders when people see the paint thumbnails, and can't help but feeling, um, what shit they're gonna get into when they press that button and they start watching these videos. Excuse me. But yeah, it's been 6 months. 6 months, 50 episodes as of next week. It's yeah, I don't I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank my players, I want to thank my listeners. And I guess here's to another 6 months of the podcast. This is the part where, of course, I plug my Twitter, plug my Patreon. Both can be found in the comments down below. Yeah, it's just really strange, and I apologize for the coughing and wheezing again. RSV has been kicking my ass. I think a good talk, like a good prattle on about my book again. I'm running up an anthology series at the moment, but I don't think people really want to hear me prattle on endlessly about that sort of stuff. I doubt if people would be even content to listen to me prattle on about 50 episodes of podcast for this for like an hour. I guess it's not an hour. It's just we're closely approaching the hour and that minute mark. But I guess once again, check out my Twitter, check out my Patreon. I'll shoot off now. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, guys.